we've created our frequency distribution table. Um, my problem is that this table is just it's too large to throw into a PowerPoint presentation, and um, the chart doesn't look very smooth, and it's just kind of clunky, and I'm not really happy with it. What I want to do is I want to compress the data and make the chart just look a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group values together. So I'm going to group 0 and 1, 2 and 3 to compress the table and make it smaller. And I want that table to be roughly about 10 rows. So now I've got number of words recalled, my frequency, F, and I'm going to group 0 and 1. I'm going to group 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12 and 13, 14 and 15, 16 and 17. I'll go, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I'll throw in at the end 18. For those that are following along at home and doing this themselves, you're going to notice that if you look at what I did, you'll see that in my value here, I put a single quote in front of the text 0 to 1. The reason I did that is that that tells Excel that my value is text. So if I had done just entered as 0, 1, let's say, sorry, 10, 11, it comes back, it formats it as a date function. And I can see here everything's changed. So I kind of like lost control of it because Excel tries to create little shortcuts for me. But if I do single quote, 10, 11, Excel will keep it as a single quote, just a little trick. So if I look at my data, sorry, I'm going to shrink it down a bit. The number of people who were called 0 or 1 is 0. 2 and 3 is 2. 4 and 5 is 6. 6 and 7 is 4. 8 and 9 is 8. 10 and 11 is 5. 12 and 13 is 1. 14 and 15 is 2. 16 and 17 is 1. And my 18 is 1. I like to keep the intervals the same. Your intervals should be something that fits within a 10-base system. So I'm going in units of 2, which works well. Units of 5. I don't want to make it too wide, because if I make it too wide, like 0 to 4 and then 5 to 9 or 5 to 10, that would be, it compresses it into too small. So as we'll do more practices with this when we get to SPSS. Okay. So here is my original graph. Look kind of clunky and not very pretty. I'll delete that and I'll have my new graph. Insert a chart, and I want a nice bar chart. I need my values, so select data. Edit my axis, and it's these values right here, and go OK. And there. I can add a title to it if I want. Now that's a much nicer graph. So that looks mighty fine. I'll be pleased with that. That's a much better visual representation, and it looks prettier in a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document. And that's what my goal is. It's just to create a really pretty chart. Okay. Now, for practice, what I'd like you to do, you can pause this video, and what I'd like you to do is create the cumulative frequency on your own, the relative frequency, and the relative cumulative frequency. So let's so pause your video, try that on your own, and let's see what you get. So I'm going to do the calculation, and you can okay, if you've tried it on your own, after you pause this video, this is what your table should look like. Remember, you have to calculate your sum here. If you want to see what I did for calculations, you can, after I do this, you can pause. There's what my formulae look like. So here's the formulas for what I just did. You're going to notice in here that there's dollar signs around the E36 when I'm dividing by 30, which is the total in 36 right here. When you put the dollar signs around it, when you drag down, it freezes it. So that it's always going to refer. Here it's F26 divided by E36, F27, 28, 29, 30. You'll notice in the denominator it's always E36. When I did that drag down, that putting those dollar signs, that's what allowed me to do that. And that is a grouped frequency distribution.